My name is Jenna and I'm here with Jenna's Craftin', and today I am showing you how I'm making cards for my card swap that I'm actually going to be mailing my cards to my mom, who is my upline, and she's going to bring them to her indie group and we're going to do a card swap that way. So I'm showing you guys, since I can't be a part of the card swap in person, how I'm making this card. This is the baseline of the card. And as you can see, it is going to be the Magical Mermaid stamp set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watercolor using watercolor pencils, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to put the mermaid on our card using a pop dot. So we get our pencils ready. It's just a white one that was stuck. All right, so we're going to put the Pacific Point and Bermuda Bay, Real Red, and a little bit of Calypso Coral. The rest of these guys can get out of the way. I need an aqua pen. My guys are a little dull here, so I'm just going to sharpen them up real quick. That one's fine. Alrighty, here we go. I'm going to do the bulk of the tail in Pacific Point, the fin of the tail in Bermuda Bay, the hair in Real Red, and I'm just going to tint her skin with the Calypso Coral. You don't have to be exact in coloring in the lines because we're going to cut these girls out. And you can make your fins any color you want. You can make her skin any color you want. The other thing that you could do, I'm using the colored pencils, but you could use the ink pads themselves. So you didn't like your watercolor pencil colors per se. For these fins, you could easily use the ink pads to watercolor. And I have a mock-up of one with the pads that I did, but I liked how the pencils looked better. Just trying to get it a little bit more blended in, so when it's ready for the watercolor, then it'll be spot on. Get her hair in. And we just tint her body. We're just gonna give it a few streaks of the flesh tone. Just enough to give it a little bit of a color pop so she doesn't look like she's a white piece of paper. Get our aqua pen going here. There it goes. And we just brush. The great thing about watercolor is if you still go outside the lines, it's not a big deal because it's watercolor. And again, we're going to cut her out, so it's all right. And I like to get the old color out before jumping over to a red. And I'm kind of using quick flicks for her hair because we don't want her hair to look extra blurred. We do want it to have some texture. And we're just going to give a quick glaze over for her skin. She's got a blue hand, but that's fine. That's how you know it's homemade. And then, run away scissors. I'm just going to cut out her outline so that way I don't end up running into cutting out other mermaids by accident. Put those guys away for now. And then we're just going to fussy cut her out. Almost done with the first one. Snip the tip. Alrighty, so we're going to take our card back. I just want to kind of bend her right ways because when you cut, she tends to do a curve. Alright. And then we're going to take our dimensionals, and these are the border lines of dimensionals because waste not, whatnot. I just put 3 on there so that way neither her fin nor her head is sticking up extra. And then bam, there she is. And so you can see she's got her seaweed and her sand. And I'll never stop believing in you. And it has a whole bunch of dimension with the extra pattern and paper. And this is the designer series paper for the color scheme of the in color. So it is the 2015 to 2017, so it's the last year. Once 2018 hits tomorrow, this designer series paper and colors will not be in inventory. So get it now. So I like this designer paper. So that's the card. We're going to show you how to assemble the main part of it from start to finish. We got our Whisper White base. Take our bone folder real quick. Give it a nice little crease. Then we're going to take our Smokey Slate. Make sure I'm getting the right color name for you, so you know what to get. And usually I would use a Tombow, but I seem to have run out, so ignore this blue glue. And then I'm going to put it at a kind of angle, like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the designer series paper. Again, for the In Color series, which is the Tip Top Taupe, the Mint Macaroon, Watermelon Wonder, etc., etc. And you're going to crisscross it so that it's different ways. And then the fun part, we get to stamp. So the colors I'm using go along with the In series. I have my Tip Top Taupe and my Mint Macaroon, as well as my basic black for the words. First things first, alright, the sand is this one right here. You see it's the little flicks and then the swirly shells. We're going to use Tip Top Taupe for that one. And you line it up at the bottom and press firmly, but not too firmly so that you don't get a double print, nor do you get the weird line, the halo. And then the seaweed we're going to do with Mint Macaroon. And I'm doing one where the base is halfway through the sand and another one at the very top of the sand. So it looks like it's got one seaweed line closer than the other. And then the words, I'll never stop believing in you. We're going to kind of angle it so that way the bulk of the words are on the one side of the seaweed. I'm going to move those out of the way for a second. And then this gets glued onto our basic gray. And the dimensions I didn't cut and dry. I just kind of did what I thought looks good. So if, say, you don't like how short they are and you want them longer, you can do that. I just did what I thought would look good. I'm pretty sure some of them have some very odd dimensions, but I don't care. I'll do it for me. So we have this one, and I put the Whisper White on the basic gray where it'd be relatively even and square. So that way it contradicts the angles that we put onto our base. And as we glue it onto the base, I did it even and square for more contradiction. But if you say you want it on an angle, you are more than welcome to, because it's your card. And nobody can tell you what to do with your card. So you could say put it at an angle. You could put it at this kind of an angle. I'm going to put it straight, because I like the contradiction. So this is the base of the card that I showed you at the very first before I did the mermaid. And then this is the finished product. So I'm going to make a few more bases, make a few more mermaids. Come on, over go. Just going to go ahead and fold all my bases. Save some time. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and do all my stamping so I can put away my ink pads. Tip Top Taupe. Okay, all right. So that one's done. I can wipe that one off. Put one back. Alright, done with that one. My mom always says, do it in stages. Because if you do it in stages, then you feel like you can get a lot more done. Oh, I made a halo. We're going to cover that up with a mermaid. You just wait. And if you really don't like how it's stamped out, you can just stamp the other side. Because there's two sides to every paper. Alright. We're done with the stampage. So we can put away our blocks. And we can put away our pads so they don't dry out. And then the next thing we're going to do, clean up our hands a little bit before we start touching papers. Watercolor the rest of these guys and cut them out. Okay. As you can see, I'm not trying to be extra careful with the fins because we're going to cut them out and watercolor them. So it's not like we have to be extra careful with them. And I'm just going harder on the middle lines of the fin to get some more dimension as we watercolor, and you'll see what I mean after the watercolor comes through. right. So that's enough of the Bermuda Bay. Let's get some real red up in here. Got the head a little too close to the corner there. And even the hair doesn't do perfect. It looks like there's a lot of detail on the hair. But you can just kind of do one of these. And again, if you go outside the lines, it's totally fine. It's watercolor, so it's most likely going to bleed anyway. Alright, and then our hint of Calypso. Calypso Coral is the skin tone that we are using. But again, you can use any color. And if you're using the ink pads, what did I use? I think I used Crumb Cake. And I thought Crumb Cake made a nice skin tone. Or Sahara Sand, if you want a darker skin tone, is good. And of course, if you want even darker, there's all those lovely shades of brown that we have, and you can definitely use those. Those would be gorgeous. And then you take your aqua brush and you get that guy going. And then I'm gonna, like again, I start with the blue because that's the easiest one to blend out. I try to be careful near the hand, but sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. Not so successful. And I'm just watercoloring down because I see it's not blending quite so nicely. So I'm watercoloring down so that way it's not trying to go all over the place. All right. First time I did this card, I had 10 of these to do. But my mom told me that there are going to be more people at the swap than what we were originally expecting. So I have to make more. Which of course it makes me happy because I love making these cards. They're so much fun. And I love getting a chance to play with my watercolors. All right, get the red out of that aqua painter. Now I do a quick brush of our skin tones. I think we need more water. There we go. It's harder to tell with the Calypso Coral because it's such a faint color. Whether or not you're actually getting color or you're just doing nothing to it. All right. Now comes the fun part of cutting them out. So I'm going to put you guys on pause. Hi, welcome back. All right, so I went ahead and cut out this mermaid here. As you can see, I didn't cut out the rest of them yet, but that's okay. I wanted to show you the watercolor mermaid that I did with the stamp sets, with the stamp pads. So as you can see, she does a much more aqua feeling, I guess you would say, a wet look than this mermaid. I liked the vibrant colors of her better than the more muted tones of the stamp pad. But I also really liked the effect of the wetness that comes with the watercolor on the stamp pad. And the way you did that, the way you do that is really, really cool. I'll just do a quick one just for funsies. And since it's watercolor, we want to use the Momento because it's not as prone to smearing. I'm just going to show you this really quick. Throwing stamp pads everywhere. Show you this and then I'll let you go. So let's grab Bermuda Bay. Let's grab, if I want to do Cucumber Crush, let's do Watermelon Wonder, Bermuda Bay, and let's do the mint. Let's do the mint Macaroon. Put her over here. Just need my watercolor, my aqua painter. Oh, we need our skin tone too, don't we? Let's do concave. I'm used to Sahara Sand for a lighter tone, but I'm gonna give her a nice cooler tone. Get your aqua painter started. And just like the other one, I like to start with the tail. So we're just going to dab our aqua painter right onto the ink pad. I'm going to start brushing. As you can see, since we're painting directly onto the image, the black does tend to bleed a little bit more heavily. The basic Momento does. So be careful with how much you go over it. I'm just trying to brighten it up a little. But it will bleed a little bit more. And you also don't want to get it too terribly wet. That snorting sound is my rats. They're making all kinds of noises because they see me in here and I'm not getting them treats. So just a light brush with the crumb cake gives her such a subtle skin tone. And now she looks all tan. There you got it. That's a direct from the ink pad watercolor, and I think it's really pretty, but it also tends to get very, very wet. So that's the give and take with it, but I like it. I think it's really pretty. She's very aerial. So that's all that I have for you guys today. You already watched me build the card, so that's all the little tips I wanted to show you. I just wanted to share with you my fancy card. Hope you had fun. I know I had fun making it, and I'll see you soon when I do a paper pumpkin.